In the 1970s, the United States and the Soviet Union began to realize the dangers of nuclear weapons and the threats that accompanied them. In an effort to make the world safer and ease tensions, the two nations attempted to take steps to limit the numbers of these weapons. So what steps did they take? And did these steps work? The first negotiations between the two nations to limit nuclear arms occurred in Helsinki, Finland in 1969. These discussions began in November of that year, but failed because both governments harbored strong opinions regarding how many nuclear weapons each country should be allowed to have. Over the course of the next 3 years, the two sides had a series of meetings in Helsinki, Finland, and Vienna, Austria. These discussions came to be known as the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, more commonly known as SALT. After years of failed negotiations, the first real progress came in 1971, when the two nations reached an agreement to limit the number of anti-ballistic missile systems each of them had, somewhat easing the tension between the two superpowers. In 1972, President Richard Nixon and Soviet Premier Leonid Brezhnev gave one another assurances that they would halt the number of ballistic missile launchers at existing levels and dismantle many of the older bases designed for launching longer-range intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs. Several years later, a second round of negotiations occurred. These discussions became known as the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks II, or SALT II. These discussions took place from 1977 to 1979 between U.S. President Jimmy Carter and Soviet Premier Brezhnev. The results of SALT II were a series of promises by both sides to limit the production of nuclear weapons. Each nation agreed to produce and maintain no more than 2,250 of each type of nuclear missile. Despite their best efforts, the SALT negotiations were not entirely successful because neither nation honored the agreement. 6 months after SALT II was signed, Soviet troops invaded Afghanistan, straining the delicate relationship between the U.S. and the USSR. Soviet military personnel were also discovered operating on the island of Cuba, and the final SALT treaty was never ratified by the U.S. Senate due to the heightened irritation with the USSR. In 1986, President Ronald Reagan formally withdrew the United States from SALT II after accusing the Soviet Union of violating the pact.